And welcome everybody to another episode of AATBirds Weekly Report. Myself, it's a little bit different crew.
Practice squad, baby.
Yeah, son.
Got Mike on the bottom there, got Jeff in the corner over there, and we got Peanut. Got the Birds, Beers, and BS crew with us tonight. So it's going to be fun. We're going to talk some free agency because free agency is right around the corner. 12 days become the legal tampering period where you can talk to free agents and basically sign them. I'm sure there's tampering happening already, but again,
always is.
We have the combine just started, so we have everyone at the combine. You get some chatter, you get some news coming out of there. Howie talking, Sirianni talking. So you got a little bit of stuff there, but each of us, Peanut, Mike, and myself, we have free agents that we picked out, 5 realistic free agents. We're not going to say they're going to get every single top free agent, but we're going to go over those lists. And there's some under the radar guys that I wanted to point out as well. Jeff did not put a list, but he's going to
I'm going to react. I'm going to see what your guys' list, because look, there's only so many free agents out there right now, or that we're expecting to hit the open market. So we're probably going to have most of the same names, if not similar names. So I'll react. If there's a name that I don't see on one of your guys' lists, I'll bring them up.
And that's great. That works. But first, we're going to talk about the combine real quick before we get into all the free agency stuff and all the news and notes. And with that, Howie talked today on some free agency. We got some videos. Jeff got some videos and stuff for us all ready to go. So I'm going to start with, we're going to go Hurts, and then talking about Hurts because it ties into free agency, trading, and then the draft, which we'll get into down the line in the coming weeks. But I'll play the Howie on Hurts and the Sirianni on Hurts. We can react to that, and then I'll play the Howie on the free agency before we start discussing all the free agents. So let's go with the Howie on Hurts.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think that when you talk about all the things we talked about at the end of the season, nothing's changed. I think what really has changed for us is the opportunity to add. This is a great time of year for the Philadelphia Eagles, for us, for our staff, and being here and really getting everyone involved in the draft process. Starter free agency's up and coming, and so we got to continue to add good players. We got to continue to make sure that we're doing everything we can to maximize our players' ability to be successful, and certainly that starts at the quarterback position with Jalen.
And then here is Sirianni talking about it.
Yeah, we're still going through that process of evaluating our season. It starts early on, and you go through the things of the write-ups of the players, what the needs are of the team, this and that, and then you start watching each individual cut up of all your different concepts and different things that you did. And as you watch more and more, and as you think about it more and more, you're just pleased with the progression that Jalen has made. And I think that's common of who Jalen Hurts is as a player and as a quarterback, that he just continues to get better, whether that's from Alabama to Oklahoma, or Oklahoma to his first year in the NFL, or first year to second year. And we just know that progression is going to continue. And it's not just because we've seen the progression go like that. It's because of the person that he is, and he loves football. This guy loves football, and he's just willing to do the things that he needs to do to get better, and that's why he does continue to get better. And guys, like, he's tough, he's competitive, he's got high football IQ, he's got high general character in himself, and those are things that we're looking for in the draft prospects that we're going through right now. Like, do these guys have these things in their body or in their DNA? Because those are, when our experiences, those are the guys that reach their ceiling. And so Jalen Hurts has all those things, and he's going to only continue to get better. And when we looked at all our tape and we evaluated our tape again, like we're still going through it, you could see the progression of him getting better throughout the year in different things. And he led us to the playoffs, and obviously we want to go further than that. And we're really confident that Jalen's a guy that can help us do that.
Okay, so you heard what Howie had to say, and you heard what Nick Sirianni had to say. And I just want to throw out here, thanks, Adam. How's it going? And also, Jeff, Addy says hello. So
yeah, I'll say everyone tuning in right now, make sure you're liking, following, subscribing all our social media platforms. Make sure you are leaving your comments. Let us know what you think of Howie and what Sirianni had to say, what we're going to discuss, whatever you want to bring it up. So make sure we want this comment section rocking this evening.
Yeah, get that shit rocking, man. Come on.
So you got to make sure the comments are in there. But again, I think you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt with what Howie and Nick says. They're not going to say, "Yeah, he's okay. We're not gonna back him." They're not going to do that because one, that values the commodity that you have. If you decide to look to trade him, if you want to get another quarterback, and along the lines of that. So I understand them building it up and saying all the things that they said. So I don't think that they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot by saying what they said. But again, Howie did say this last year with Carson. Remember about his hand, about one of the fingers on your hand and all that.
Big different circumstances, my friend. Big different circumstances. Look, we all know the saga that was Carson Wentz last year, and the tension between Carson and the front office and the organization. You knew that relationship was going to end. Where it's a different story right now. You have a quarterback that's entering his third year of his career after completing his first full season as a starter. And look, did Jalen play perfect last year? No. But there was like Sirianni said, there were some growing points and there were some positive points and Jalen Hurts' play a year ago. So, and I understand we keep on discussing all the possible options for the Philadelphia Eagles. You're looking at the Aaron Rodgers. You're looking at the Russell Wilson. You're looking at the Deshaun Watson. But we have a guy in Jalen Hurts that I honestly feel they believe in the potential that he could bring. If those guys were not available, would we be discussing right now about replacing Jalen Hurts? No. So, look, before we jump, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is definitely the guy, as I say on Birds, Beers, and BS on our exclusive YouTube channel on show Friday evenings.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. Jalen Hurts is a guy that I would say has the potential. And honestly, right now, this team isn't in the position, in my opinion, to be a Super Bowl contending team. Yeah, do we need to upgrade at quarterback? Possibly. But I believe what Howie and what Sirianni are saying right now, because the possibility of us landing one of those quarterbacks, in my opinion, is slim to none.
I agree.
Yeah. I know what we know what Mike has to say about it. I see it all day long. The damn pictures of
Say it, Mike.
I just want to say one thing. There was a point in my life where Katie told me she wasn't cheating on me, and that turned out to be a lie. So until I see differently from both Nick Sirianni and Harry Roseman, I'm just going to assume that they're lying too. So, you know what I mean?
And I'll say, Mikey Kuhn chime in. Appreciate you tuning in on the YouTube channel, asking, do they really mean that he's showing progress? And yes, look, I understand Philadelphia fans right now, we're focusing and zooming in on that playoff game. All we talk about and keep on, we keep on zoning in on Jalen Hurts' season in one game. And that was possibly the worst game of his career and the season last year. And that's the last thing we remember of Jalen Hurts. But there were plenty of big moments throughout last season. He was a quarterback in the first year of starting. Of course, he's going to go through some growing pains. So, look, give the kid a chance. Is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that are talking about all the other quarterbacks that are out there, people still bringing up Deshaun Watson's name, which is pretty crazy when he has all these allegations. So it's just, to me, that's nonsense. And Russell Wilson, don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson's a very talented quarterback. But are you going to want to give up 3 first-round picks or more to get a player who is 33 years old? See, to me, that's tough. But Mike knows, on our usual weekly report show, everything. I still back Jalen Hurts. He's a 23-year-old quarterback. I don't like anybody in this draft, and I think that you have to give him this year, see what they do, build around him. You have free agency. You have 3 first-round picks. You have the ammunition to get better, to be able to put players around him, to be able to build up your roster, because that's what you need. You need your roster to be built through depth, younger players. That's what we need. That's what we've been asking for the last couple of seasons.
I have a comment.
Michael.
I just want to say, so far, the 2023 quarterback draft class isn't as good as it's cracked up to be. Right now, you have C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. Don't scout the helmets, everybody. I know Ohio State quarterbacks haven't worked out in the past, but I think Justin Fields is the real deal. You don't really want Bryce Young because Jalen Hurts not a big guy, height-wise, but he's pretty stocky. He's well-built. He's a good put-together guy. Bryce Young is tiny. like tiny. He's 6 foot and under 200 pounds. We have some other guys like Grayson McCall, who went back to Coast Carolina for his senior season. So we have some other guys, but I know everyone's saying that the 2023 class looks better. I really don't think it does right now. And in case you're wondering my credentials, I do a lot of scouting for my fantasy football show. I understand that, it's not the same, but I want to see where these guys fit in the NFL. So that's why I'm just trying to give you my thoughts here. There's some decent quarterback prospects in this class. So, when you're looking at things, you have to look at things objectively too. Don't fall into echo chambers that you hear on Twitter or other social media platforms. I'm probably always going to be the guy that sounds a little bit different from everybody else. It's because I don't subscribe to other people's thoughts. I don't hate Jalen Hurts, the man. I just don't like Jalen Hurts, the player. I see a lot of things that he's done at Oklahoma, at Alabama, that he's still continuously doing. I understand he's had a lot of different coaches and stuff like that. But still, he locks onto his first read a lot. There's things that he needs a lot of coaching. He shouldn't have been a second-round draft pick. So shame on Howie for drafting him that high. Sorry, Peanut. But if you're thinking that the 23 class of quarterbacks is your savior, I don't think it is. So this 22 class is not as bad as people think it is, by the way, as a whole, especially on the defense, which, we got some free agents to add in defense, but this is going to be a really good defensive draft.
And that's definitely why I feel a lot of people think that this year's quarterback class isn't as strong as we're expecting to be, is because there's so much other talent at so many other key positions. So they're definitely overshadowing the quarterback position, but everyone kind of assumes quarterback is the premier position in the NFL. So you kind of expect I'm saying, as you expect almost every draft to have a top 5, top 10 pick when it comes to the quarterback position, which this year's class might not have. So I think that's why people are getting that feeling or that sense that there's not a quarterback decent enough in this class better than Jalen Hurts. And to your point about next year's draft class, yes, right now on paper, but you don't know what's going to happen in next year's college football season. Almost every year, there's a guy that comes out of nowhere that you don't expect to be in Heisman candidacy or as a Heisman candidate, or a guy that just balls out of nowhere. So it's a little bit too early to forward looking into next year's draft class just yet before saying it's bad or good.
I'll give you my guy for next year, though. Peyton Thorne from Michigan State.
Oh, I was going to go with some Cam Rising. Not familiar with him yet. But, like CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. I'm looking at the 2023 draft eligible class. Anthony Richardson from Florida. Florida's not pumping out anything good right now. No. Will Levis from Kentucky. He's like a middle round developmental guy. Phil Junkovic from Boston College. I actually scouted him because I thought he was declaring this year. My comp for him is shitty Matt Ryan, because he looks like him, but just everything Matt Ryan does, he does it a little bit worse. So, there's some guys that are going to be coming out, but a lot of these guys are really underwhelming. And I think it's actually sad to say, if you look at the state of the quarterback as a whole in the NFL and what's coming out in college, there are some teams that are in trouble. So in that circumstance, stability might be your best option, as much as I hate to say it. But you have a guy that the locker room likes, that the city for some reason likes, and stability is key. Coming back second year, same quarterback, same coaching staff.
And he's a cheap contract. So before we start talking about these potential veteran quarterbacks, you have to remember, these guys, you're going to have to pay some money. And right now, the Eagles' cap situation is a little better than it was a year ago, but we're still not flowing in the dough. And Howie, to his credit, he does well with the salary cap, and he can find ways to maneuver things. But do we really want to be strapped to contracts for the next 4 or 5 years and cap hell or pushing contracts down the line? I'd rather focus on what we're doing, or to build a winning team in the near future, and still have the ability to improve the team without, especially through free agency. Peanut, sorry.
I don't think we have a choice. I think what's happening right now is we don't have a choice. We have to go with this guy. Like, everyone's talking about what we should do, what we should be doing, but in this certain situation, there's so many glaring holes in this team that we don't have a choice but to go with Hurts. And I think that's what's happening right now. Look, Deshaun Watson, Wilson, whatever quarterback you name is not going to want to come to this team no matter what. We have to go with Hurts. Is that me being slow right now?
You're good.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, you're a little
as a team, I don't think we have a choice. Like, everyone's talking about all these quarterbacks and all these options. We could reset it and get a rookie quarterback, or we can get a veteran quarterback to go to the team that doesn't want to come to this team. This team is not prepared to win. There's so many holes on a defense, on offense. What veteran quarterbacks going to want to come here? We have to either draft a quarterback or go with this quarterback and build around that quarterback, and then go back and then find weapons for that quarterback. Like, there's no options.
And I'll say
I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, but I'll say you bring up a good transition. I'll say, as we're about to discuss free agency, Howie Roseman had this to say at the Combine about the Eagles' free agency plan.
Well, I think the order of operations matters here, right? So you're talking about you'll have free agency, you'll have the opportunity to see where you are, but you also don't want to get in a situation where that you don't take the best player, that you don't take a guy who's really good just because you address something in free agency. So I think what free agency does is it allows us to check boxes so we don't feel the pressure to maybe feel like we have to do something, assuming that it works out in free agency. And that's kind of how we'll look at it.
So, what he says, talking about free agency and something the Eagles do with free agency. And the last couple of seasons, I think they've done pretty well. I know we all know about the Super Bowl. They basically hit on everything. That's something
that was 4 years ago.
I'm just saying. I'm getting
4 years ago. My kid wasn't even born 4 years ago.
They did a good job last year. You're going to miss on guys. You're not going to hit every single.
They did do a good job last year when it came to free agency. The draft, yes. But free agency last year, and to defend Howie a little bit, it was not his fault, at least for what they weren't able to do. No one expected COVID to tear up the world for 2 years and affect the revenue across all sports. So the Eagles, along with the rest of the NFL, were limited when it came to the amount of money that they were expected to get with the salary cap and the amount of money they were going to be able to spend. But they wouldn't have been in that situation if Howie didn't continue to reward players for past success from that Super Bowl run. So now I'll say I feel we have an opportunity, and I feel the Eagles are going to be very aggressive in free agency. So sorry, I just had to get that out there.
Last time they were aggressive in free agency was 2017.
It was.
It brings it back to those 4 years ago, like you said, when they had money to spend, and everyone talks about I see in different sites between $18, $21 million to spend, but we're going to go with some lists.
According to Pro Football Focus, the Eagles are, as of this past Friday, the 25th, they have a projected about $18.5 million, which puts them at 15th in all NFL teams at this moment.
Okay. So, like I said, they're going to be able to sign some guys. There's magical ways to maneuver money and work everything. There's so many different things you can do. But we're each going to go over a list. Mike is going to be first. I'm going to give you the floor, let you discuss the 5 guys that you have on your list, and one by one, discuss why, and then we'll kind of break it down. So let's add it to the screen, and time's yours.
Before I start, 2 things I want to say. I hate that picture of me. I hate all pictures of me.
I'm the same way, dude. Can't stand my picture.
And secondly, I do want to let Johnny know that Sean Clifford is draft eligible next year too.
I was going to say that for you.
Penn State quarterbacks.
All right, so these are my realistic free agents that I could see coming here. The first one is DJ Chark. People, one thing that Jeff said, and he makes a great point, this doesn't just apply to veteran free agent quarterbacks. You have to look at across the board. Why would a wide receiver want to come here? Why would a big name wide receiver want to come here? You have a quarterback who has some deficiencies in throwing the ball, and you want to get paid. You want to put, you want to put numbers up, because a lot of these contracts are based on performance. But DJ Chark coming off, so I guess a lot of my guys are like redemption guys, and these are the type of guys that I feel like Howie targets. So I'm trying to think like Howie for a little bit when I'm putting this list together. DJ Chark, I feel like he fits here. Everything I hear, he's a hard worker. He's very coachable. will do whatever the team asks him to. And I think that's really important to this coaching staff. Coming off an injury, a lost season in Jacksonville. I mean, got to feel for the guy. You had Urban Meyer as a head coach for a while. I feel like he'd fit really well here. He could be a number 1 wide receiver and take some coverage off Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert. It's going to open the offense up a little more. Now, if Jalen is progressing like Nick Sirianni is saying, hopefully he's better at his progressions on the field, doesn't look to run as much, sets his feet a little better, drives the ball. DJ Chark, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, it's a really good trio then. And hopefully that they draft a backup tight end too. There's some good tight ends in this class that could be had 4th, 5th, 6th round. Be a little bit better than Jack Stoll. Nothing against Jack Stoll, but it's more of just an inline blocker. So my second guy is cornerback Desmond King. So I didn't really look at scheme so much with the defensive backs, and that's mostly because Jonathan Gannon has been quoted as saying, I don't have a scheme. We could tell. But that being said, one thing that Desmond King does that I think adds value to him is he is a returner as well. He's a punt returner. So cornerback, punt returner. I believe he was actually all pro at one point as a punt returner, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that they did that. A lot of these guys I'm looking at too are in their mid-20s. If you look at how he's signing history, he generally tries to go for guys that are in their mid-20s so he could give like a second lesser contract to, like a Rodney McLeod was, I think, 26 when he signed him. So Desmond King is 27. He could return, which is important. If you remember, last year our return game was anemic at best. Yeah, which is surprising because they had Quez returning kickoffs, and with his speed, I thought he would be better at it. I'm a huge Quez Watkins fan, but maybe it's the vision really more so than the speed. I don't know why they didn't try Kenny Gainwell on returns. I believe he did that at Memphis, so I thought that would have been a natural fit. My next guy is running back Marlon Mack. We don't know if Miles Sanders is going to be back. I hope he is. I love Miles Sanders. I'm a Penn State fan. But you need to get better at the backup running back position if you're uncertain about what's going on. Marlon Mack is 25 years old. He's had some injuries, but he's coming in as a backup. He's the perfect backup. Another guy, he got replaced in Indy by Jonathan Taylor. Marlon Mack is not a bad running back. He's everything you want Jordan Howard to be. He's powerful, but he can catch the ball, and he's going to be cheap. You need guys like this to back up young talent. We also have safety AJ Moore. So another guy, 26, coming off his first contract. He's from Houston. Let's say you're a football player. Where would you rather play right now? Houston or Philadelphia?
Good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That is a very good point.
Another thing I was looking at when I'm looking at these guys, again, trying to think like Howie. So I had a couple parameters here. What's their age and what was their salary? Any of the guys that were higher age and higher salary, I skipped right past them. I went to mid-20s, medium salary, like anything, no double-digit millions, like 10 million and under a year, because I know how he's going to try to lock these guys up. AJ Moore fit all my parameters. I watched some stuff about him. I like AJ Moore a little bit. You know what I mean? He can lay people out. I like him. I don't have much more to say. Watch it for yourself. My last guy is Nick Vigil. So Nick Vigil is actually the oldest guy on the list. He's 28, but still, he's an instant upgrade on their linebacker core. They need a veteran presence at linebacker. Here's where scheme fit matters. He just played Minnesota last year under former head coach Mike Zimmer.
So he's familiar. He's
familiar with what Gannon wants to do or what we think he wants to do. I think he's going to be cheap. He was really good with the Bengals a while ago. Played with Minnesota last year. I didn't really see what he did. I just know he played there, so he knows the system a little bit. I think they can get him cheap, and I think most of these guys would be fits. Maybe Marlon Mack wouldn't be necessarily a fit here. I don't know. I just like the way he plays, and that's why I picked him. So you can let me know what you guys think then.
So I'll start. I like the Chark pick. Desmond King is very interesting. Again, you don't know what you're going to do with Steven Nelson. Most likely he's going to command more money than you're going to want to pay him. So you're going to need to get another veteran. I know you're probably going to draft a corner, But again, you may want to get a veteran as well because you don't know else what you have there. You just have a bunch of young names. Marlon Mack I like because you look at, Jordan Howard's a free agent and Boston Scott's a restricted free agent. So if they don't tender him, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. So you possibly have a spot there, a void at backup running back. I know you have Kenny Gainwell and then Miles Sanders, which we talked about. The AJ Moore it's an interesting name because the safety position is so loaded, top heavy. But then you have a guy here that could possibly surprise people. And then Vigil, of course, you need a linebacker. That's evident. We've known that for years. But maybe they start addressing it. But I like the list. It's interesting, but it is really realistic when you look at these options. They're not all top 20 free agents trying to get all these top high price guys. So this list does make sense.
And one thing to think about too, don't forget, you have to leave room in the cap for your 3 first-round rookies. These guys are going to cost some money. So I understand we have money to spend. If they do make all 3 of their picks, I understand we have money to spend, but you can't go crazy in free agency because you got to lock your picks up too. And they have a lot of other picks as well. So there needs to be some space put aside.
There is 2 things that they can do and to clear about $21 million. You can extend Javon Hargrave, who's on the last year of his deal.
And they should.
And he saves about, if you extend him, I think you do collect about $10 million in cap space. And then there's also an option of you can extend. I know Darius Slay, he is on the opposite side of 30. You can extend him, and that'll save you about $12 million. So there are options there to add some extra money to the cap. But what do you guys think of Mike's selections?
Go ahead, Peanut.
I actually like it. Like it. When it comes to like the team needs, it fills gaps that need to be filled up. So receiver, obviously you need a veteran receiver, cornerback, running back, and safety and linebacker are positions that like we really haven't been talking about. So Mike, shout out to you. Good list. My list sucks.
I bet it doesn't. I bet it's great, man.
No, man, it's the usual suspects. I literally was just like, yo, fuck that. Joe Montana.
I hope not.
No,
not Joe Montana.
But good, yeah, it's a good list. It's filling in the gaps that we need. It's giving us the veteran leadership that we need on those sides, and also it's addressing issues that we've had with the defense and offensive side of the football. So I will give you that, Mike. You've done your homework.
Perfect. Thanks, Peanut.
I didn't have much time to do my homework. I literally got home. I was like, shit.
When they procrastinate, Peanut, at least you did the list. At least you did the list. I didn't do shit.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff.
So we're gonna go on Peanut's list because I'm gonna have Jeff's gonna be the first one to be able to talk about Peanut's list. So
he's gonna shit on this list.
Here we go.
You literally went for like all the top free agents, didn't you?
We're still Douglas. Look at that.
Pretty much.
I think it's a pretty good list. I will give him that.
Yo, look, Johnny, you need to fix these photos. You look like you added like 15 pounds to Peanut's face in that photo.
Hey, you know what? You know what I like? I look like Sheik Louche from the Locks right there.
Yo, Peanut's picture looks like I just rolled up into the wrong LA neighborhood right now.
Wow, Mike.
Oh man,
he said facts.
Wow. Oh man.
Hey, you're welcome in this wrong neighborhood, Mike. Just remember that. Look, I went with needs. So the first thing I thought is we need a veteran wide receiver, and I looked into all the options, and I'm like, look, the first thought was like, why don't we bring Deshaun back? And I'm like, you know what? We need to change the scenery. Allen Robinson is available. If I could have that guy, I would take him. Then I'm like, we need linebackers, which, and I think, Johnny, I sent that text. I was like, it's not going to happen. Yeah. But I would take Hassan Riddick in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm the GM, I'm trying to make the team better. Like, these are key players that I would love to have on the team that would contribute immediately. So at DE, I got Arden Key. I looked into this guy's like history in LSU and all the highlight reels that are on YouTube because that's what I do. But the guy's a baller, and this is the one that's going to throw everyone off. I'd bring Rasul Douglas back. I've seen what this guy can become. He's a baller. And the only reason I picked the running back, honestly, is because he kills it on my Madden team whenever I pick him.
He does. His little halfback counter that he always runs on us.
Philip Lindsay, he's oft injured, but the guy has a lot of look. We're a running back by committee team, so if we could have a guy like Philip Lindsay in the lineup, I'm guessing Miles Sanders is not going to be here. If that's the case, having a guy like Philip Lindsay that can catch the ball out the backfield, that has the speed, that has the two-tone versus the defense, then I would take a guy like that. And I apologize, Johnny. You didn't give me much time. I tried. Yo, Mikey's list was way better than mine.
Listen, I actually don't hate the Rasul Douglas. I liked Rasul Douglas a lot. He was a guy whenever he came in, like had to replace somebody, they threw at him right away and he would just pick it off.
Rasul Douglas, yeah.
And I don't hate
that. And they way too often tried to put him in the slot, and that wasn't his natural position as a cornerback. He was a guy that we already full at the cornerback position, and then Jim Schwartz's scheme, he was a guy that was more built for the outside, and they really gave him the chance. So the fact that he was able to find his groove and find his way in with Green Bay, because now he's a guy that got a starting role. He was a Pro Bowl cornerback, so he definitely has the accolades to prove the command starting money and be a starter somewhere in this league.
Are you agreeing with me, Jeff?
As far as Rasul, now Hassan.
Here we go.
Look, Hassan Reddick. I love him. The guy is a beast. He's a guy that has double-digit sacks the last 2 seasons. But the way the Eagles scheme is, we don't blitz enough with the linebacker, especially last year because with the inability of our secondary. So with Gannon being here and a guy that he can be aggressive and dial up some blitzes. He's not a guy that's going to rely on his linebackers to get pressure on the quarterback, which is something Hassan Reddick does. Now, they've signed him to try to be a defensive end. Johnny can break this down a little bit better than me, but a lot of guys that are natural 3-4 pass rushers are not guys that can transition to a 4-3 and be as successful, or vice versa. Look at the Eagles when they went to a 3-4 defense. You saw the struggles with Brandon Graham. You saw the struggles with Trent Cole from going from 4-3 to 3-4. So Reddick, another thing, like Mike brought up before, he's got to command some money, and we're very limited unless the Eagles, like Johnny said, pull some moves this offseason to free up some cap. They're not going to be able to go after these top tier free agents in this upcoming free agency.
Okay.
And Jeff, I will get to that because as we look at mine,
do you hear that? Listen to him. As we look at my perfect list, that's what I just heard.
I wouldn't say it's perfect.
He got Hassan Reddick. What's up?
That's why I said I'll go over that. So I think the Eagles are going to be going to be big time in the defensive end edge pass rush market because that's what they need. I know Brandon Graham's coming back, but again, he's coming back off of a major injury. You have Josh Sweat. After that, you have Teron Jackson because you have Derek Burnett's a free agent. I don't see him coming back. Ryan Kerrigan, please God, he doesn't come back. And Jannard Avery, I don't see him coming back as well.
And Ryan Kerrigan needs to fucking go.
Yeah, well,
hell yeah.
Hey, that's week 19 Ryan Kerrigan you're talking about there.
Yeah, unfortunately. But so I have Emmanuel Ogbah as first guy. He's played well. He's had 9 sacks, I believe, the last 2 seasons. 6'4", 275-pound defensive end. I feel like he's a good fit because he can play inside, can play outside in pass rush situations. It gives you some versatility. He is good against the run. So it helps you in the aspect of depth and being able to rotate some of these guys. The Hassan Reddick, for me, and I know it says linebacker, but for me, he's a stand-up edge rusher type. And I think he can excel there if he's able to rush the passer. He was able to do that last year in Carolina, and he was finally able to do it his last year in Arizona after 3 years of trying to make him a off the ball linebacker, and that did not work. And he's had back-to-back over 11 sack campaigns. He's not going to be cheap. But again, if the Eagles want to make that splash and to help their pass rush, because that is something they need to do. They need to be able to rush the passer and get sacks, because I think they were the third or second worst team in getting sacks last year, which does not bode well for you, especially when you play 10 yards off the receiver every play. So
Yes.
again, that's going to be a key emphasis for me, is the edge rusher aspect. Third guy I have on there is Zach Pascal, wide receiver, not a big name, but he is from Indianapolis, a bigger receiver. He's not going to, get 1,000 yards, but he's going to do everything right for you. He's going to do the little things. He's going to be able to be a decent, viable wide receiver for you, a veteran wide receiver for you. I went with safety, Justin Reed. I didn't go with any of the big names, the Marcus Williams or anything along the lines of that. I just think I like Justin Reed. I know he's on Houston as well, but I think he's a younger guy. I think he's 26, if I'm not mistaken. So he still fits that younger mold of what Howie likes to do. But they need to get younger in that safety position. I know Rodney McLeod and Anthony Harris are both free agents. Marcus Epps stepped up. He was able to show you a little bit of development. I think he played really well last year in the previous year, so he's developing as well. But I think one of the guys of either Anthony Harris or Rodney McLeod does come back. I do hope they draft a safety as well, but I would like to see them get a little bit younger and getting a Justin Reed on the back end of that defense. And then one of my favorite players last year that they didn't sign, he went to Cleveland, that I talked about. I'm going to talk about him again because he is a free agent again, because he signed a 1-year deal, is Anthony Walker Jr. Played with Indianapolis 2 years ago. He went to Cleveland. And again, he gives you a veteran guy. He's not going to cost you a ton of money. And it kind of brings of what Mike said with Nick Vigil. He should know a little bit of the defense. He was in Indianapolis when Gannon was there, so he knows a little bit there. You do have TJ Edwards, but again, you need more linebackers. You don't really have much of anything depth-wise behind TJ Edwards. You have a couple special teamers. That doesn't help you when you need to be able to play some defense. And I know they don't play 3 linebackers like they used to. This isn't the 4-3. Usually it's a 4-2-5 type of set. But again, you still need viable linebackers in your defense. So that's my list.
Good list.
I thought about Anthony Walker. The reason I didn't take him and I went with Vigil is I feel like Vigil will be cheaper. And that's probably the route how he would go. But I would prefer Anthony Walker. If you gave me the choice, I would rather have him personally.
You really think he's going to go cheap on defense, though? Like, I feel like I think this is Howie's defensive year. Like, he does things just to shut people up.
As far as free agency, yes. Look, I would say free agency, they're going to try to get some of those depth pieces, maybe get a guy that can compete for a starting job. But the arsenal that they have for this upcoming draft and for how deep the draft class is when it comes to the defense side of football, that's where he's going to rebuild this defense. Because look, the defense, we're on that part of the transition of this defense. You have Fletcher Cox, who you all know how much longer he's going to be here. Brandon Graham, he's, like Johnny said, coming off major injury. He's in his 30s. We all know how much longer he can play. We're probably going to be moving on from 2 old safeties this offseason with getting rid of Anthony Harris and probably Rodney McLeod. Look, you have Darius Slay opposite of that. You really don't have anything. And then the linebacking core is a complete mess. So definitely, I feel that this offseason, the defense is going to definitely be addressed, but not through free agency for the most part.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is the year where Howie has to step up, because you have all these. You have the cap space finally. You have the plethora of draft selections. This is a year where you need to start building that foundation to be able to succeed these next handful of years. Your time is now just to build this. So I did also put together some under the radar free agents. So,
let's go.
These aren't guys who are the top of the top, but these are the second and third tier guys that you possibly see the Eagles signing. They do like to kind of get into that realm of free agency. So Arden Key, we already mentioned him with Peanut, out of San Francisco. He has stepped up after coming out of LSU. He struggled a little bit his first couple seasons, but last year I think he had either 5.5 or 6 sacks. So he did step up. Auden Tate, I know he kind of got phased out and he's been injured in Cincinnati. But again, 25 years old, 6'4", 215-pound wide receiver. Linebacker Kenny Young. He was originally with the Rams, traded to Denver. But again, he's a linebacker who he's the type of guy that he's an attacking linebacker. He'll attack the ball. Safety Ronnie Harrison, a young guy, 25 years old from Cleveland. Somebody that I could see Howie taking a liking to, a younger guy that fits a mold at building this defense up. Defensive end, it's like a defensive end linebacker. It's kind of the same mold of Hassan Reddick. It's kind of the cheaper version of Hassan Reddick. Both Temple alums. Jacob Martin from Houston. I think he was from Seattle, was traded to Houston in the Jadeveon Clowney, but he's, a handful of sacks. He's a effortlessly motor player. He just doesn't stop. So he's a player that you can get cheaper, get some snaps. The guy here, Akello Weatherspoon, he's one of my favorite players. If I were the Eagles, I would sign him and start him opposite Darius Slay. 6'3", 195-pound cornerback, a lot of length, can play press man. I like him there. Zaire Franklin, a linebacker from Indianapolis, usually a special teamer, a captain, a special teamer. Got some playing time when they had some injuries last year for Indianapolis, but a guy that I think that if he's given an opportunity can kind of shine. So he's another under the radar guy. Alan Lazard from Green Bay, another big body receiver, possession type of receiver. Defensive end Stephen Weatherly from Denver, previously with Minnesota. So again, you have that Minnesota tie, defensive end there. Cornerback Shannon Sullivan, we are familiar with him. He was on the Eagles a couple of years ago. He did start to thrive in Green Bay. So he's a 26-year-old corner that is a free agent. And then Sean Chandler, local ties, Temple alum, played with the Giants and Carolina. Again, he's along the lines of the AJ Moore pick that Mike had, a younger guy. He's, give him that opportunity. And then the last guy on the list is Charvarius Ward, the Kansas City Chiefs starting corner. Again, he's not a household name. He's not a number one guy, but he can be a good player complement of Darius Slay. I know that was a lot, but go ahead.
You know what? This when we talk about this team, I think we forget about we focus on the quarterback and the offensive play, but a lot of the times the games that we lost were defensive games that lost the game. I mean, how many times are we going to get picked apart? How many times are we going to have cornerbacks playing 20 yards away from the receiver? What we're seeing is a transition from an offensive philosophy to a defensive strategy. We have to get to the point where we can find guys that can lock receivers down. We can find linebackers that can cover a tight end. We can find defensive tackles and defensive ends that can actually rush the quarterback and create pressure. I think a lot of the Jalen Hurts criticisms come from us not having a defense that can actually lock an offense down.
I wouldn't go that far.
I was waiting for that, Jeff. I was waiting. You know what? I was waiting for that.
Was it the defense that only scored 3 points in the first half in that Tampa Bay game?
You didn't let me finish.
Was it the defense that only scored 0 points in the first half against the New York Giants while we're freezing our asses off at the Meadowlands Stadium, Peanut?
Okay,
no.
All right, that was personal.
And
anyway,
and look, I'm not saying the defense wasn't a problem a year ago and that Jalen Hurts deserves all the blame. I'm not saying that. What we need to do, we need to stop settling for C+ players. We need to just to fill a void. We can't keep on going after these third and fourth tier free agents, hoping that we find a diamond in a rough. That's what we tried to do with TJ Edwards and all these other guys that we brought in here. Or sorry.
Whoa. TJ Edwards playing.
What's the line? Wilson.
Eric Wilson.
Yeah, Eric Wilson, expecting a big play out of him, and he ends up getting cut before the season even ended. We need to go out there and address our needs with decent talent, whether it's through the draft, through trade, or through free agency. I'm tired of settling on these players that can't go out there to play just because they're cheap and they fit our scheme. That is not a way to win football games. 2017. They got players on the cheap that were proven veterans. Nothing against Johnny's list here. Yeah, some of these guys have some potential, but what have these guys really done in this league for the most part?
Proven veterans. Ajayi had like a knee that was like hanging off a string.
LeGarrette Blount, baby.
LeGarrette Blount.
Chris Long.
You know what, Jeffrey?
Chris Long, baby.
Jesus.
Well, Jeff, they did try to
love LeGarrette Blount.
They did try to get production out of a guy like Ryan Kerrigan, who was supposed to be like a Chris Long thing. And
exactly. And it failed.
So again,
hey,
doesn't work. But like these players, I'm not saying these players have to be your free agent. Then that's it. These are guys to supplement to help build you depth, because the main thing is this draft class. Last year's draft class was good. You have to build again and have another good draft class this year to start building that foundation. These guys are guys that, yeah, you may hit on them, but they're depth. You want depth because you don't want to have to be going into undrafted free agents to be playing meaningful snaps. You get some of these guys on cheaper contracts, to be able to fill out the roles of the backups. So that you're not signing all these guys to be starters. That's my big thing.
And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that Howie is going to look at some of these lower tier free agents and feel he's going to talk them up and say that these guys are stars. Just like today, I don't have the audio, but the fact that Howie had to talk up Andre Dillard, that he has the potential to be a starter in the NFL, you're just trying to build him up to be a guy that you can try to flip and try to trade.
Johnny, tag me in. Can I? Tag it. If you're trying to sell a product, why would you say it's a piece of shit? If you're selling a house, you're going to say it's a great house.
I agree.
It's got a great view.
I'm not blaming Howie. I'm not blaming Howie for talking him up, because that's what you're going to do. But you can't go by what he says all the time.
He's trying to sell the product. He's not going to say Andre Dillard's a piece of shit and he can't block for shit. He's going to say he's a great player.
I understand that. But I'm saying as far as these free agents, he's going to talk it up and try to sell to the fan base that these guys are A-quality players that are going to make an impact on your football team, which I'm hoping that they don't bring a lot of these guys in, is what I'm trying to say. Look, there's quality free agents at key positions. One guy that Johnny or you guys didn't address, a local product out of Emmaus High School, Kaiser White, has the potential to be a free agent this year. He's a guy that did solid last year.
Put him on my list. But I didn't.
How dare you not put him on your list? Look, he's a guy that started last year.
On your list either. You don't have a list.
It's true.
He's a guy that
you don't even have a list.
Starting linebacker. He can pair well with TJ Edwards. He had over 144 total tackles last season with 3 pass defenses, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and a sack in 17 games. So he's a guy that could definitely address your linebacking core. I want him to address a veteran wide receiver. Look, everyone keeps on, and a lot of these mock drafts, which I don't get why they're even having them pick a wide receiver in the first round. I understand a wide receiver is a much-needed position for this team, but look, we already have Devontae Smith. We have J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. We have Jalen Reagor. We have Quez Watkins. So, look, we have these guys already here. We have these guys that we're trying to build. Let's get that veteran to complement Devontae Smith, a guy like Mike Williams, a guy like Cedric Wilson, a guy that was on the bottom of the depth chart in the middle of the pack for the Cowboys. I understand we're Eagles fans. We don't want a former Cowboy, but he's a guy that can he's a guy that's looking for a starting job. He's looking for that opportunity. And with the Cowboys offense and a limited role, he still put up over 600 yards and 6 touchdowns last season. So he's definitely, and he brings you good size, so which is something they need. I'm tired of Howie bringing these guys for speed and try to be burners. We need physical wide receivers that can go up there against these physical cornerbacks that bring you good size and bring down the ball and give Jalen Hurts an opportunity in those 50-50 balls, which is something we don't have on this roster right now. Because look, Devontae, he's a tremendous talent, but he can't be the only focal point in this passing game, which is what Jalen Hurts did last season for throughout the most of the year.
What is your problem with Howie?
There's a lot. He could go all night with that. But no, Jeff makes a great point. I like Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys. A bigger, longer receiver, but he has some speed. He can get downfield. And there's another guy I could see them going after. Now, he's not a big guy or anything like that. He has speed. He played for the Jets last year. Braxton Berrios. He has kick return ability as well.
Right now.
What? Or they can go after tight end Jay Sternberger, who's still a free agent because he probably still unemployed.
That would be amazing. I love Jay Sternberger.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that for you.
I like
but no, they have to be able to get in, like Mike said when he went over his list, what Howie likes to do is get these younger guys, these middle 20, 25, 26 aged players to be able to get out of them like they got Rodney McLeod. And, these players that you can get them, it's not the best deal, but again, you can get them and they can rise their game up and be something. And then, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to sign every top free agent. It's just.
Yeah. And, you got to think about it too. One thing I will say about Howie, he generally doesn't get stuck with bad free agency contracts, and if you try to say DeMarco Murray, that was not Howie, that was Chip Kelly that did that contract there. So, he's pretty good. And that's why I actually don't hate going after these quote unquote mid-level guys that are looking for a change of scenery. Some of these guys are looking for a chance to start and have starting ability, but they just have a veteran entrenched in front of them. Sometimes they just need a chance to play and get on the field and see what happens. And hey, you know what? Jeff made a great point. Howie last year, free agency was not great. Was not. But the draft was good. I think almost all of their draft picks played except for like Casey Toohill. Was that it?
That was the year prior. I think every draft pick did play because the last game of the year they had everyone play. So every single one of the draft picks did play in a game last season. So again, something to build on. They have, it was a big draft class last year. They have a lot of picks this year. They have money to spend. So it's going to be fun these next couple weeks, just because, with Combine, you're going to get all these rumors. And then with the free agency starting up, legal tampering starting up in about 12 days, you're going to get some news, some free agent contracts. And, we'll see how the Eagles and everyone else improves their rosters in their team. So it's going to be fun. And, I think it was a good episode talking about some free agents, getting some names that maybe a lot of people haven't heard about. They can do some research on, check them out. And, everyone can adore Peanuts' list because it was pretty good. I know he wants me to say that. So that's for
Thank you.
Jeff's list was good too, because Howie Roseman is not going to sign anybody.
Jeff did no list.
But maybe, what? Maybe
listless.
I want the honey badger, baby.
What? Well, he did. Hey, he did give us two guys. Maybe it's all he wants him to sign. Kaiser White.
I'm gonna keep it 100. Yo, Jeff.
I said Mike Williams or Cedric Wilson.
I put my name up there, and you put Birds, Beers, and BS Crew, and now I feel like shit. I'm so sorry.
Oh no! I left it up whenever we do our show. It was just automatically there, so that was my blood. I didn't even notice it.
You should have took the credit.
Oh, well.
That's going to probably wrap it up here. I'm going to go over a couple of sponsorships. Statement Games, fun-free twist on fantasy sports. Manscaped.com is partnered with AATBirds. Use the code AATBirds for 20% off and free shipping at checkout. I will not do the creepy voice close to the mic.
Your boss will thank you.
There you go. Mike did it.
I have nightmares.
I'm not as good at it.
AATsportsnetwork.com/shop. Check that out. There's going to be some designs coming up in the spring and summer, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Symbol.com, stock market for sports. Use the promo code ATSports when you sign up. And all about the birds is partnered with La Terrain Luxury Watches. Use the code ATBirds at checkout for 10% off. And last one, TripleThreatBets, TripleThreatWagers.com. Check them out. A college basketball handicapper. Make yourself some money. But with that, I do appreciate all you guys.
And don't forget, make sure you're following, liking, subscribing. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. So make sure all the media platforms, make sure you are subscribing, hit that notification button. Anytime one of our shows goes live, you get the notification. We love our listener participation from Mikey, from Laura, from Adam. Make sure you're spreading the word also. Spread it out to your friends. We want that subscriber list up. Our YouTube channel is not getting much love, so we're trying to build that up. Send it to a couple of friends. Tell them about us. We have plenty of great products and tons of great programming from AAT Weekly Report. We have Birds and Chip and Dip. We have the Across the Pitch, our soccer show.
Burning Bridges.
Yes. Jeremy Bridges across Burning Bridges. So look, tons of great programming here on the AAT Sports Network. We love it, and we hope you guys all enjoy it too.
And also Saturday morning, it drops our first Fandemonium show. It'll be on YouTube only, YouTube exclusive. So keep your eyes out for that. It's our interview with Chris Malley from 4th and John and his story about how he became an Eagles fan and some fun times there. So it's definitely something that we're going to be doing. The Fandemonium show will be going out throughout this. No.
Really? You know this dude?
No.
Mikey, what the fuck?
That's one of
Chip's student. Mikey.
Oh, okay.
Mikey's awesome.
Mikey, though.
Mikey, make sure you're tuning the Birds, Beers, and BS, baby, on YouTube.
Yeah, it's not for kids, so it should be for you.
But every Saturday we'll be dropping an episode of that, so definitely keep your eyes out for that because we got a bunch of guests lined up. So that's definitely a fun new show. We have a couple new shows lined up that we're going to be doing, so keep your eyes out for that. And there's a lot of great content, like Jeff said. So make sure that you are subscribing. Make sure that you keep your eyes on what AAT Sports Network is doing because you're not going to want to miss it. And with that,
thank you, Mikey.
The only way to end it. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Shut up, Mikey. That guy.
Exciting news from our friends at Manscaped, who just launched their 4th generation performance package. This ultimate package includes the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Manscaped, the leaders in male grooming, have done it again to make your grooming game next level. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the new Performance Package 4.0 by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man, it was worth the wait. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. First off, the new Performance Package 4.0 includes the new Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is insane, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever? Yeah, I said it. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on-off switch, and can engage a travel lock. And it gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when you need a more precise shave. Oh, and did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming game even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ear. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Seal the deal with Manscaped's liquid formulations, their Crop Preserver ball deodorant before leaving the house, and Crop Reviver ball toner for a mid-game ball check. Trust me when I say this, fellas, your balls will be thanking you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Your balls have been through enough this past year. Treat them with the best tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.